Hey, everybody, it's your girl Sherry. Welcome back to another episode of Alleged Actually podcast. Y'all, we are about to close out 2024. It's been a great year for me. How about you, Joey?
I agree. I feel like we keep hearing the conversation and talking about how like maybe this like form of television is not having its heyday because like ratings are down like across like the channel or whatever. But I mean, for those of us that are sticking with it, it was a really good year. I feel like in compared to previous.
I think so. I think so. I was thoroughly entertained. And I know, like us, many of you out there are suffering with having no new Bravo content out. Yeah.
Why? Why?
I don't know. Bravo gets that wrong because we're all home. We totally be watching.
Right. I'm literally on vacation. Like I'm home. I need my fix.
Same, same.
I've been rewatching for like my eighth time Dallas while the break's been
Oh,
on.
that's a good idea. Yeah. Y'all hit up some of the older franchises or go back to some of the old seasons. I mean,
I'm telling you, Dallas, I don't know why they canceled it. I don't know why they don't bring it back. It was so funny.
it was. It was.
It's
Yeah,
so
they were
good.
good.
So good.
They were good. You watching on Peacock?
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna have to.
Watching. I mean, I've gotten through like 4 seasons in like this like week. Like it's so good.
It is good. It is good. Yeah, I miss those ladies. So yeah, y'all get up on your old content. I mean, something to help till we get through. I guess everything comes back the week of January 6th. So as far as I know.
We have another week of nothing. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Thank God for Dallas and thank God for the new season of Love Island Australia.
Oh yeah. Joey turned me on to that, y'all. It is so good.
I'm
So
almost at the end. It is spicy.
it is. Yeah, that was a good recommendation, by the way. Thank you for that. Okay, guys. So, what we wanted to do for you all, we wanted to bring to you our top 10 moments of 2024 on Bravo. Man, I struggled a little bit because there was so much going on, but I think I got it down to a nice list of 10 and Joey as well. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to go number for number. So, of course, we're going to kick it off with number 10. Joey, what's your number 10 moment of 2024 in Bravo?
So my number 10 was just the return of Kathy Hilton to Beverly Hills. I think it's only been a little bit of time, but I mean, the iconic scenes she has already brought us are
Yeah.
just like so insane to me. Like, and I have to point out, like, her coming into Sutton's party and immediately sitting down and taking her extensions out of her hair at like the table. Like, it is just so on brand. It's like the TV I want to be like watching.
Yeah.
I'd watch an entire show just about her. She's so out there. She's so funny. And then I had to talk about obviously her on their trip and her brushing her teeth with her eyeshadow brush. It's just like you can't write this. You can't make this up.
No.
And the return of Kathy Hilton had to be in my top 10. And she squeezed in there at number 10, let me tell you.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, we all are. I won't say all. I know some of you haters out there may not, but I thoroughly enjoyed her return as well. Kathy brings the funny and the lighthearted moments we really need. So,
I
yes, I
completely
agree.
agree. And like her trips are just like outrageous. That trip was outrageous. Even
Wonderful.
like the delivering of like the invitations, how she did it herself, like
So good.
incredible.
So good. I agree. Well, my number 10 is not as lighthearted,
Oh,
but yeah, I've got some lighthearted ones and some darker ones up
I have
here
some
just
darker ones. Don't
because.
worry.
Yeah, just because I thought they were all prolific moments in Bravo this year. You know, they got our attention. My number 10 goes to Summer House. And I don't know how many Summer House fans out there that we have, but I am. I love Summer House. Winter House, but Summer House definitely. So my 10 is when Carl Radke did the break off of the engagement with Lindsay Hubbard. And the reason it made my list was I had sat through a season that was interesting to watch how she really tore him down all season. And those of us that really watch, we know that Carl has struggled with his sobriety, but he has been sober for a few years, doing well, not so much focused on career. But I hated watching her constantly tear him down. So when he finally got his voice and realized that this was not going to work for him and broke off the engagement, I was here for it. And I'm going to tell you, they did a good job the way they edited it. It was a surprise. It was almost like an extra scene. She was definitely caught off guard, and it was good TV, y'all. So,
Very controversial.
yeah, 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 definitely,
I know like
definitely.
there's like a lot of like really strong opinions about that whole thing.
There was a lot of Carl haters, but I can't let y'all give it to him all the way because she really emasculated that man. She really tore him down, and I felt like it was a lot of miscommunications, and he just wasn't where she. I think he just wasn't for her. So instead of her admitting that, I felt like there was a lot of projecting and lashing out, and he wasn't perfect either. He really needed to get his life, um, but yeah. So that was my number 10. Also, guys, I want to encourage you while we're giving ours, feel free to slide in our comments and let us know some of your top moments of 2024 on Bravo. We'd love to see what you thought and let's chat about it. But on to number 9, Joey, what you got?
You know, I'm sticking with Beverly Hills. I know it just started, but it's just really giving us what we've been missing
It's
from Beverly
giving.
Hills. And I have to give it to my girl Dory and just this season of activation. It's not a specific moment. There's been so many moments. This
Yes.
is like the Dory I've been like waiting for. When she first came on for the first few seasons that she was on, I like loved her. I thought she was different. I didn't really know if the things she was saying were real or made up, but I just
Oh,
like found
yeah.
her like fascinating. And then we sat through seasons and seasons and seasons of her, I feel like almost trying to like create a storyline for herself, but it wasn't really
Mhm.
there. And her just being like a Kyle like lapdog. And as everyone knows, I loathe Kyle Richards. And it was just like so awful to like watch, just like a yes woman, a soldier, and to see her like this season coming in, she's her own person. She knows what she's going for. Her mind's made up, and sticking to her guns, not taking a back seat, saying what's on her mind with such conviction. I am like so here for it. I can't wait for the season to continue. I hope these fights continue because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm just rooting for her all the way. And again, I know that's controversial. I know that she has a bunch of haters too. And for some reason, Kai Richards has like a bunch of fans.
She does.
To each their own. I am here for it.
Yes.
Dory, number
Same.
9, all day.
I love Dory. I agree. I am loving finding her just not taking any ish from anybody.
Any.
I'm here for it. Yes. Yes. Because those ladies, they try it. And
Yeah, and
each
to
and
be honest, like,
everything.
you're right. And it's not even like just Kyle. Like even her standing up to like Garcelle, because like Garcelle, like your shtick is up because you can no longer throw this like shade onto Dorit when her and Bose ain't having no issues.
Nope.
And
Nope.
apparently that continues like the whole season.
Oh, yeah. No, they,
So,
yeah. So,
Garcelle
yeah,
loved you, but your shtick is up too.
agree. Agree. And if you can forgive Kyle and be team Kyle, there is some room for some forgiveness for Dorit because that, yeah. So I know why people say why she shouldn't like her, but in the same regard, then she shouldn't still like Kyle if that's the case. So
I completely agree.
yep. So there's that. That was a good one. So my number 9 is yeah. I thought I had a hard time getting my list together. I'm not gonna lie, you
I
guys.
hear you.
Yeah, but it's gonna go to Real Housewives of Atlanta and Candy Burris' departure. Yeah,
Ooh, good one.
yeah. And the reason being, I had a lot of feedback on the actualizers that wanted me to come on and say, what did I think about Atlanta? What would look like a shakeup? Because we all agreed after that last season, something needed to happen. It was
Oh
really
yeah.
bad. An unpopular opinion, I thought it was high time for Candy to go.
Oh, I'm right there with you, and I'll tell
Yeah.
you my reasons after. Continue.
Okay. Okay. And so I try to be politically correct because this has been a journey for me on this channel because I try to say things that not just what y'all want to hear, but I try to think about it on both sides. But the reality is, and I'm telling my truth, I thought her time was up. I hated the way that she started to go low. I felt like it had gone to her head. The sweet Candy that I adored when she first came on was absolutely gone. It was gutter, and it was time for her to get gone. So when she announced it, I was here and hopped on live to rejoice. And come to find out, one of my biggest shorts ever because you all agreed with me. So there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that where people get mixed up in like the fighting about Candy is that I'm not saying anything negative about Candy. Candy Burris, man, she a boss. She's like a quadruple
Yes.
threat. She can do anything. Good for her. I'm a huge Candy Burris fan. I think that she's great in all her ventures. Like, good for her. But when we're talking about the Real Housewives show, and when it came to the Real Housewives show, her life was too busy outside of the show, I felt like, to really give herself to the show that she's hired to do.
Yeah.
She hadn't really had a storyline besides how busy she always is.
Right.
And it just wasn't fair to the other women that are giving their all to this show to have this person who's making way more money than all of them, deservedly, but to not bring the same level of whatever. And you're right, she did make a change. It did get low, it did get dark. Whereas like when she came on, she was like the comic like relief a lot of like the time. So
Yeah.
like nothing against her personally. Love her, super
Oh, yeah.
happy for all of her successes. When it came time for the show, I do agree a change was needed.
Yeah. 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 Great. So y'all slide in our comments and let us know what you thought about that. But
I might
yeah,
get some hate on that one.
I know I did. Trust me, I did. But I went to go see her in Escape, and let me just say, fabulous, honey. So I support Candy Birds, just not on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Thank you. All right, guys. Number 8, Joey. What you got?
Number 8, I'm moving over to Orange County.
Okay.
And for me, the year of Jen and her finding her voice and the scene in London where she busts in Tamra's room when she's getting her makeup done and just shreds her verbally was just like such a standout moment for me. Like,
Yes.
because we don't see people come for Tamra very often, especially that way, that well spoken. She did not stutter for a second. I
Nope.
mean, she knew exactly what she wanted to say. She was dead on in everything she said. And it's rare, I feel like, to see Tamra so caught off guard. She had nothing to do besides smile, awkwardly like laugh, do that awkward like clap thing.
Yeah.
It was so amazing. Like I say, that's my MVP of the OC,
I
Jen.
know.
I feel like Jen's here to stay for like quite some time. She is good television, and I
Yeah.
know she has a ton of fans backing her up. It was impeccable. Number 8,
Okay.
Jen,
I, I
finding her voice.
I concur. And funny, she makes my list too. So I won't have to elaborate too much, Joey. You really summed it up, but she is on my list, but we haven't got to that yet, honey. But yeah, honestly, I agree with all that you said. My number 8, guys, is kind of a general one. I just wanted to take this space to say bravo to Bravo and the newbies this year.
You know
Yeah.
what? That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. My number 8 moment is just the new ladies that they have found. Some landed better than others. I'm going to give you my, of course, top 3. Um, some will definitely disagree, but I loved Katie Janela for Real Housewives of Orange County. She came in a little hot for Heather, which was her big mistake. But what I love about her was she didn't seem to care. And that even though she got a little weak at the reunion, I think that she adds something a little bit different. I'm a big girl on wanting some diversity if it works. I'm not saying force it up there just because you rep this community or that community. But I think that in time, she's going to mesh in and we're going to get more of her storyline. I'd love to see her come back. I don't know if it's confirmed yet or not. I've heard she is, but liked her for Orange County. I love her and Jen's relationship. And so I was impressed. Of course, honey, you listen, Bronwyn Newport, listen, iconic, okay?
Give casting a raise. I mean, yeah.
Ciao.
I mean,
She
I don't know if I could ever think of another housewife that came in season 1 and was just so top tier.
not the way that she reckons with the OGs as if she was always here and does not miss a beat. When I say comfortable in front of those cameras, comfortable with those women, comfortable in herself, and even with her flaws, she owns every ounce of it. When I say and Salt Lake City as a whole deserves but I will get to that. But Bronwyn Newport, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you are doing that, sis. You are.
I
So,
couldn't agree more.
yes. And then, of course, we have Bo St. Thomas, who blew on the scene of Beverly Hills like a dream.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
everything from out, just flawless to look at, a boss within her rights, so accomplished, so comfortable in her skin, and quiet confidence, but she can get with you if she needs to, but she does it with such tact, with such grace, elegance. I'm here for her as well.
I
I love it
completely
when they
agree.
get it right and when it's a refreshing ad because each one of them at times they need that. They need somebody that comes in and brings a little something different. And so that's my number 8, y'all.
I completely agree. I completely agree. She's amazing. And like that's like the opulence that I want to see. Because we all
Yes.
know like that girl, she don't need this show.
She don't. She don't.
Like,
She don't.
you know what I mean? So like she's there because like she like wants to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you said, confident in her own skin to the point where these women better watch themselves because she's not going to be afraid to speak
Mm-mm.
her mind, say what she wants.
Nope.
And you're right, she does it so tactfully because she is.
Yeah.
She's just like classy.
So classy. So classy.
Yeah. And also like bring in some looks.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
I mean, stunning. It
yeah.
just makes you want to like reevaluate your whole wardrobe. I mean, I couldn't pull it off like that, but I love it when a woman can just, like, I love Dorit's looks too. Like, I just love when somebody just has that. And when they come on screen, you can't help but look like, dang, love it.
Yeah,
Love, 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 love.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, we are at number 7. So, Joey, what you got?
All right, number 7, we're gonna go over to Miami.
Oh,
I
okay.
think Miami had one of like the best seasons they've ever had this year.
Great.
It was just so good. So my number 7, they're in Mexico City and they go on that gondola ride. The
Yes.
gondola ride for me was an episode that I watched like more than once, like when it aired. It was the most chaotic, funny, sad.
Yeah.
It was like every emotion. There was so
Everything.
much happening. It was like, for me, that was like an 11 out of 10 episode. It was so wild. From the fighting, from the throwing of objects, Lisa's unhinged behind, to the island of the dolls, and people now are crying and like they're scared and they're screaming. And then this is so sad, but our poor Gertie gets so sick and starts puking on the gondola.
Yeah.
And like everyone just please be quiet. Like Gertie's sick, and up rolls at the perfect timing this like mariachi band on like another boat. It was just like television gold.
It was.
Like, to be honest, I thought about putting the scene higher, but I just like Miami really just brought it with the gondola. Bravo to Bravo. I mean, it was fantastic television.
That was good. That was good. And ironic, y'all, because my number 7 is Real Housewives of Miami as well. That's why we're Bravo Bestie. Listen, you're right, because the gondola ride was in my mind, but I was like, okay, My moment is when the ladies went to the Cathedral of Metropolitana and they kind of
That's
did.
literally on my list.
Okay, good. See, that's why we're here, guys. For me, 8 of the women went, sans Adriana. For me, for so many reasons, I love this scene. Of course, it tugged at your heartstrings. The ladies are in Mexico City and they go to the cathedral. This is where Alexia had prayed after Frankie had his accident. And she believes that that was pivotal in the fact that it saved his life. Um, Anybody that watches Miami has to just love the way Alexia and Frankie. It's just gotta
Obsessed.
love. Got to
Obsessed.
love it. Yeah, Leah. To me, that is the epitome of what love and really pouring into someone does. I mean, his prognosis wasn't good, and look at him thriving. It's just great. But it was that, and then we had also Julia, who had not been in a church since the passing of her son as a baby, and that story was tragic. And then Gertie. Gertie is fighting cancer. She had her cancer diagnosis and shared that with us on the scene. And it's the first time that she truly admits she's scared, and that's a real thing. And what I loved, it was Larsa that initially put her arms around Gertie, and then they all just came together. And it honestly, I am I'm a big church girl, y'all. And so for me, when you add in the spirituality piece and the things that they all went through and just women coming together, it just did something for me. So it had to make my list. So that is my number 7,
That
y'all.
is great. I will revisit that later. Don't you worry. It's definitely on my list. I always
Okay.
talk about how I love in the Housewives. Yeah, like we like live like the drama and whatever, but those scenes where they like come together is like what really do it for me. And I feel like Miami always does such a good job at that. Like they will like literally be at each other's throats,
Mm-hmm.
but then find these moments of just like unity. And like that church scene, I was on my couch sobbing.
Same,
It
same.
was so powerful. It was
It
so good. It
was.
might be like one of like my favorite scenes in like Housewives like history, if I'm being honest. It was just so it was perfection. It was
It
television
was.
perfection. They were all there for each other, no matter what the issues had been previous. It didn't matter in like that moment. Such good television.
So good. So good, y'all. So good. All right, guys. We are now up to number 6. So, Joey, what you got for number 6?
My number 6, we're gonna shoot over to Salt Lake City.
Okay.
um,
Okay.
it has to be Meredith's bat mitzvah. Just,
That's
just,
a good one.
just the whole thing. Like, I felt like again, kind of like the gondola episode. This is another one of those episodes that like I watched more than once. It will go down in history as one of my all-time favorite episodes of any Housewives. It was so good from even like their entrance on like a horse-drawn sleigh. Like who else besides like the Marxes?
You're
I
right.
loved the fact that like her son that wants nothing to do with the show was there to support her. I love
Mhm.
that family thing going on with them. Um Obviously I'm I'm Jewish. I loved watching the prayers, the whole like bat mitzvah actual part.
Yes.
Mary trying to get in to that event, peeking through the windows. I mean, it was so outrageously funny.
Yeah.
The fighting at the end, my girl Angie just coming through with the iconic high body count hair
Woo,
comment that will go
yes.
down in Bravo history.
Absolutely.
We get to see what I love most about Salt Lake and activated Meredith Marks, where she like loses her mind and can't see anything besides her anger at the moment and kicking Angie out. It was just superb television. Again, number 6, absolutely Meredith's bat mitzvah.
I loved it too. Yeah. There was a lot going on in the episode. I also had to watch it twice. And then I was kind of like, Jody helped me out here on a couple of this. It was a lot going on, but it was absolutely superb scene. Excellent.
Superb. We had like
So,
moments of like loving stuff, like where she was like wearing like the prayer shawl of Seth's.
yes.
We had so many questions, like why was Heather's plastic surgeon there? It was just like a
So
lot
much.
going on, and it
A
was
lot.
just amazing.
It was.
Bronwyn being the bone collector of Salt Lake City and just throwing everyone's stuff out. I mean, amazing, top tier television.
Great. It was great. Salt Lake City is winning, y'all. It was good. Okay. Again, I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction. Going back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. And my number 6 is Kenya Moore's indefinite suspension after just filming 3 episodes of their new season.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. And I will tell you why. So many things. And I know that, again, this may be a backlash on me again because it was before, but let me say why. Kenya, I love Kenya for some reasons, but I do not like how nasty she can be. And she's not by herself. A lot of the seasons or the different franchises have started to kind of go in that realm. Who I can take down, who I can get this stuff on and embarrass them, or. But with Kenya, she just because of the uncertainty of Real Housewives of Atlanta, I feel like she thought she was going to make her mark, and it just didn't land right. And so she, at an event of her hair salon that sadly, with my research, has never fully opened, but there's that. Um, a new launch party, and her and newcomer Brittany Eady have some beef, and she decided on large pictures to display her in some compromising positions. We can't say the word, but revenge P was thrown out there. And Bravo took a stance and indefinitely suspended her. And I hate that it had to hit her, but I think she's a good one to make an example of. It took her down a few notches, and it sends a message to the other housewives. Look, this is for entertainment, and we love some good drama. We love verbal beef. I don't like to see people put hands on each other, but I don't like to see things where you can ruin someone's businesses, careers, reputation, hurt their families. And so I wanted that on my list because I think it's important that, plus, Bravo has had its other legal things going on, and they were at a time where they just couldn't give her a pass, y'all. They had to take a stance. Them, NBC Universal, it's just a hot time over at Bravo for people kind of acting up. Once, including my dear Andrew Cohen, found himself in some little hot water. So it just became at a time where they could not give her a pass. And so there you have it. That's my number 6.
It's a good one. It makes me very sad. I love Kenya Moore, and I know that could be like unpopular. Trust
Mm-hmm.
me, I know from like the blogs and stuff.
Yes.
I just feel like ever since she had Brooklyn, I felt like we saw like a softer side of her.
Yeah.
I thought that on the first season of Ultimate Girls Trip, we saw a completely different side of her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll never forget her winning like that trip back to Turks and Caicos and giving it to like Teresa and like Louis,
Yeah,
like that's so like nice. And
it
she
was.
does get dirty, but I feel like she doesn't necessarily anymore get dirty unprovoked.
True.
Um, I mean, yeah, what she did was obviously crossing like the line, and you're right about Bravo was already in a ton of turmoil. It wasn't like they really could excuse her behavior when you have all these like pending like lawsuits already.
Right.
It just like makes me like really sad, and I really hope that she can somehow find a way back. I don't know if that's in the future or in the cards for her, but I love her, and I think the show is gonna hurt without her. I
Oh,
hope
I
that
think so.
they do or get whatever they like need from the other people. I mean, obviously, like the return of Phaedra and Portia is going to be great. I love them both. I think that they're great together. But really, we've had a lot of boring housewives on Atlanta for quite some time, and Kenya
Mm-hmm.
Moore was like the star of the show, and
True.
it is going to be a huge void. I feel.
It is. I think they didn't have a choice. So unfortunately, it's leaving us all wondering. And from what I understand, it will be released sometime. I think they said February timeframe, 2025, or somewhere in the first part of 2025. So we'll get to see the Sweet 16 I don't know how sweet it'll be, but I'll be tuning in. But yeah, I have lots of questions. Portia's got legal stuff, so there's not so much she can do as far as her real storyline. Phaedra's return, I'm happy to see her back, but I just don't think Phaedra is very private, and I think she's just not going to give what everyone is looking for her to give, other than the freaking frat, which I think is so much fun, and they're great together. But
It is, but you bring up a good point, and also like I feel like there's so much writing on the return now, especially without Kenya, of the return
mhm,
of Portia and Phaedra, and people have super high expectations with her success coming off of like the Traders. And my thing is like the Traders isn't Housewives; it's a different show. You're
different
gonna
show.
see a different person. The same way we saw a different like Larsa in
Yeah,
the Traders. She
yeah,
wasn't aggressive and she wasn't that villain. The same way we saw a different Larsa and Teresa in House of
House of
Villains.
Villains.
They
Yeah,
were Teresa was voted least villainous. Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I
yeah.
just it, very high expectations that I hope they can fill, but I guess we'll see.
We'll see, y'all. We will see. All right. Well, that brings us to number 5. We are halfway through our list. Joey, what do you got? Number 5.
Number 5, I had to go with the finale of New Jersey. I just love it or hate it, good or bad. It was so explosive. It
Mm-hmm.
was I think we were all like prepared, but I don't know if we were prepared for everything that came out,
Mm-mm.
how aggressive it actually like was. Like I mean, again, like the physical aspect you talked about is like never a good thing. Yes, my girl has had her fair share of physical things with Teresa.
Yes.
But for me, I just like loved like I felt like it was the first time I feel like kind of like walls were almost like down and people were like
Mm-hmm.
really open and like honest. Like obviously I'll never recover from the fact that we learned that my least favorite housewife of all time, Margaret Josephs, had been lying for years and years and years about talking to Louis' ex. And then immediately tried to deflect that to Jackie, which I could not have cared less about because Jackie was never claiming to be Teresa's friend, and Jackie was never claiming her innocence in general. Like, and even like Teresa, I saw through that. We saw Melissa just desperate for screen time, trying to start a moment with Teresa because no one there was looking at her or talking to her, paying her any attention. She could have been in the parking lot and no one would have noticed she was like
You're
missing.
right. Yeah.
I just thought it was so good and left us in this like obviously in this void of we have no answers about like New Jersey. We don't know what's going on.
Yep.
Andy Cohen said expect to not hear anything in the year of 2025, which I'm like, it's already
What?
been like 6 months. What do you mean another year of like not even
I
like a
know.
word?
I know. I know. I know.
Which I don't know if that's like punishment for them. Like, don't forget who's the boss here or
I kind of
what.
feel like, yeah.
But I thought it was just something. It was something, that
Oh,
finale.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It makes my list too. So I will put my spin there. I agree with a lot of what you said, but I have other thoughts to add to that when I get there. But yeah, definitely needs to be on the top 10. Y'all, New Jersey, God, is a staple. I was so hurt that whole season. And I remember I did a recap and I said, y'all, I am so worried about them. And when we got to the finale, I was like, yeah, so, but yeah, I'll get into that when I get there. So, my number 5, we are going back to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but we're going to go to season 13, last season, when we get the first inkling of the breakup of Kyle and Mauricio or Mo.
It's a good one.
Yeah. And yes, we had the Morgan Wade stuff in there, but let's set that aside for a minute because for me and a lot of the fans, Kyle and Mo were that couple that you just love to. I mean, they're a staple. You that one hit me, and we've all seen tons of breakups, divorces. That one hit different. I really love their family dynamic, and they just seemed so close and so together. Yes, there were rumblings about Mauricio, but there's rumblings about everybody. And that one was notable to me. And it's continuing to play out. I think it'll play out all season. And I mean, and we're going to hear stuff all along. That definitely was a notable moment for me. That's my number 5, y'all.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And you are right. That one did hit people different. A lot of people were like, oh, that's it. I don't believe in like love anymore. You know,
Right.
like it was. And yeah, you're right. We do hear like rumblings, but they did seem pretty solid. I don't know. In my
It
opinion, like
did.
it just really did come out of nowhere. And the fact that there's still just like so much speculation and so much they haven't come out with, you know,
Mhm.
yeah, it's interesting to see how that'll play out like this season. I do agree.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to move on to number 4. And Joey, what do you got for number 4?
All right, I'm gonna go dark for a second, but
Okay.
I had to put it on my list because I thought it was so powerful. Gertie's cancer journey
Yeah.
in Miami this past season was just, it was heartbreaking. It was in a weird way heartwarming when it came to her husband Russell, who might be my favorite house husband of all time.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible to see the way the women rallied around, not all of them, Larsa,
I
but the
know.
way that the majority of them
Mhm.
rallied around her. I thought it was so brave how open she was.
Mhm.
I have chills like thinking about it, but like the
Yeah.
scene of Russell shaving her head and the fact that she chose to have cameras in there in such a private moment,
Mhm.
in such like a, like real moment, like it
Mhm.
was, I felt like it was something I had never like seen on Bravo before. It got a lot of conversation starting.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like so powerful. I actually thought about putting that even higher too, but it did land at number 4 for me. I just thought it was incredible.
You're right. And I ashamed that that wasn't on my list, but you know what? That's why I like this so we can talk about, I mean, yeah, honestly, Gertie, so brave, so open. And again, those kind of moments to me is what the platform should be used for. I mean, we don't, of course,
Right.
but it started conversations. It probably got some women to go and get checked. It helped people, and she has been a warrior behind it. And I respect Gertie. I've always loved Gertie. In the beginning, sometimes Gertie got on my nerves with her over dramaticness. But honestly, I have a new respect for Gertie. And let me just say this, y'all. She is another one that is so striking in person. She is tall. She is regal. She, when I first saw her in Vegas, when I went to BravoCon, um, she was further away, and everybody's like, "That's Gertie," and I was like, "She had the bald head," and this is before all of this had come out because this was November of 2023, and I when they told me, I wanted to start busting out crying that she was going through this. But when I say own and regal and gorgeous and the epitome of what, you don't have to let, you can still walk through with confidence and show people that this is a fight you can fight. And she did it with such grace and such beauty and fierceness. And I'm going to tell y'all, she is striking to look at. Bald head, hair, whatever. Striking. Gorgeous woman. What
Yeah,
else?
and like at like the reunion, right? Like here's Gertie, who's like always like wearing like wigs and stuff anyway, and she chose to come out not wearing a wig, own the
Loved
bald
it.
head, had
Yes.
her port star, but chose to wear
Yes.
something off the shoulder and
Ah,
wore it like a badge of courage and like honor and whatever. Like
yes.
just nothing but like respect, like
Yes.
so powerful. And like you said, like it's the real housewives, right? Like we
Hmm.
watched for like those moments,
Yeah.
and she didn't like sugarcoat anything,
Nope.
owned it. I thought she did it with such class. I thought it was like beautiful. I just loved it.
Same. Same. All right, guys, we are going to move to number 3. Joey, what you got?
What was your number 4? Did you do number 4?
I did not. I skipped my own number 4. You know what? I know what I'm going to do, y'all. I get so wrapped up. Listen. That ADD's kicking in. So, no, no, no. This cannot be skipped because this is what I've been waiting for. My number 4 was Joey's earlier in the count up down. Jen Pedranti finding her boys. Y'all, let me just say this. Real Houses of Orange County this past season was hard for me to watch. I found myself so angry at Tamara, at the situation, disappointed in the ladies at different points of the season. But let me just say, on that episode when they were in London and Jen finally got to work on Tamara, like I wished had been done earlier. I'm with you, Joey.
Right.
I loved her anyway. I love her because she doesn't have to be the flashy, showy. She owns her situation. She owns her struggles. And God, she's so beautiful and one of those that you could put her in this box of, oh, she's a cute little Barbie. But when she came out swinging, I mean, oh, she's a real one, honey. A force to be reckoned with. And she shut Tamara down the way she should have been shut down so long ago. Tamara did not know what to do with it. And rightfully so, because I think she really did not want that smoke, y'all. Mm-mm.
No.
Jen,
No. And like once Jen put her foot on Tamara's neck, she never took it off.
never, never, never. And I wanted, and everybody took note in the fact that Miss Tamara, who ran everybody, who was the one that was always in everybody's faces and whatever, you know what? Everybody knows who and whom to do that with. And when she saw that energy, y'all saw her pull it right on back. Like Joey said, it was awkward things. It was clap. She knew not what to do with that. So,
Because again, like, and we've talked about this on other episodes, but Tamara's MO is to go after people's like shortcomings and use
yep.
that as like low blows. But when you have someone like Jen who is just owning, I'm broke, I've been evicted, I was an adulterer, blah blah. Mm-hmm. Tamara has nothing to go off of. She has no ammo whatsoever. So when Jen's coming at her, she has nothing to rebuttal. Nothing.
No.
And we love to see it.
Oh, it was so good. If I could have put it higher, I would have, but that was my number 4, y'all. All right. So now we are officially at number 3.
All right, number 3, I'm going to stay on my dark trend for a little bit.
Okay, same.
But I had to go with Salt Lake City and the current Mary and Robert Jr. situation. Mm-hmm. It's another thing that's very similar to the Gertie cancer thing. It's like a dark subject matter of Robert Jr. and his substance abuse issues and, you know, suicidal thoughts or whatever. I, again, feel like the same way, though. It was done so well. Like, kudos to Bravo for the way that they edited it or handled it. Kudos to Mary and Robert Jr. for allowing the cameras to come in for those difficult conversations and letting it play out. Again, I think it's something that, like, right, is going to start conversations, might help someone.
Yeah.
The fact that we see him, you know, he's ready to go to rehab and he like goes to rehab. Like, it was just so touching. It was something else that I was on my couch, like in tears, like multiple episodes, hearing her talk about it. I can't imagine being a parent and having your child, you know, say the things that he said and come out like that and being so raw and honest. And that first scene of them in their bedroom might be like one of the most like raw scenes I've ever seen on reality television across like all franchises, all channels. It was just so different. And being on social media and seeing the outpouring of support that Mary received was just incredible from new housewives, past housewives, celebrities of all kinds that we didn't even know were Housewives fans. It was just, I know, like, I think it was like Stephanie Holman from Dallas or whatever, maybe it was her, said that she doesn't really watch Salt Lake City, but she saw all the whatever and went and watched the episode and was like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, it was just so powerful. And that's my number 3.
Okay. It is also on my list. It is. And as a matter of fact, ironically, it is my number 3 as well.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
well,
look at
see?
us
Mhm.
go.
See there? Um, just you really covered it, but just to add to it, I think that with what we saw of Mary in seasons before, with her quirkiness and you know, she really didn't let us in a whole lot. And then in this season and this scene, she let us in a way that was so brave. And like I said, from a person that this has come around my doorstep, it meant something to me because so many people are ashamed and they keep it to themselves or whatever. The fact that she was so brave and her son was so brave was huge for Salt Lake City, for Bravo, to me, it just seemed to restore my faith in the humanity of the women that I so love, that I give my hours of time to. And it was, I think, it absolutely is going to help some families, definitely start the conversations. And even when Mary talked about it on the subsequent interview on Watch What Happens Live, she's still very emotional. That was real, raw, and deep for her. That's exposing yourself on a level that you just can't go back in the box and close that up. So kudos to Mary and Bravo and Robert Jr. And it gives us all hope because he did the love that you saw between that mother and son. Just y'all, I'll never forget it. It is iconic.
Yeah,
Completely.
100%.
Yeah. All right, guys. So now we're gonna move on to number two. We're getting up there. What you got,
My number
Joe?
two, we're going all the way back to January 2024,
Okay.
and the Salt Lake City season 5 finale for me will just go down in history as
Yes.
like such a moment. I don't even want to say a moment for like reality TV. I just think it was just like a moment in like television history in general.
Yep.
I felt like it was like that big. Again, here are these women that like really, I mean, yeah, like season 4 was a little but I mean, we haven't seen a new franchise come out and swinging like Salt Lake City did like season 1 and just really just giving us like good television.
Yeah.
But the season 5 finale was just from the dramatics of
Oh, so
production
good.
and that whole beach scene
Ah,
and like I mean it won like an award for like best
did
like actual picture for ladies on like a
yes.
beach. To that explosive dinner and the I hate her, but the iconic, Heather receipts,
Heather.
proof, timelines, screenshots. Just I am like such a huge Monica Garcia fan. That whatever happened didn't even bother me. I just loved that she was just giving it right back and she was being
Yes.
attacked on all fronts.
Yes.
It was just so good. You know it's a good scene when you see cameramen and production like running around like the background of like a scene because it's just
Yes.
chaos and no one like knows like what to do. It was
Yes. Yes.
just exquisite television that I don't know if we'll ever see something like that again. I mean, I hope
I
we do,
doubt it.
but
Yeah.
I mean, it was so. I mean, number two all day, unquestionable.
Awesome.
I had a struggle whether it should be like number one or not.
Yeah, because I will tell you, that made my list, but it's not my number two. So that's how I do the math. So we are so here. So y'all, my number two, we're gonna go a little, I guess a little dark, yeah. It's Real Housewives of New Jersey. The finale. I loved, they're one of my top franchises. And yes, I love Teresa. I loved I love them all. Where I think the past few seasons for me, and I'm a little different than Joey. I love Teresa, but I've watched her do interviews and things, and I just would love to see her because seeing her on House of Villains, I think that's really her.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, seeing her out, she is the nicest
Right.
person, but I think Teresa exhibit some qualities that I have. Whenever you cross me, because I'm such a loyal person, disloyalty is darn near unforgivable. And I think that's where she is. And so for her, and particularly with her little brother, and they were close. So I'm rambling, but to make a long story short, The finale, when everything came to a head, the season was hard to watch because we had the clear lines divided. It got very stupid with, Margaret. I don't know what she really adds. I mean, she's a pop star and all of that. But you had the two lines that it even got where you have, Dolores is always Switzerland, which is good and bad at times. And then you had Jen Fessler, who decided that she was a shade bit Switzerland. I loved how Jen checked them and like, what you won't do is tell me who I can and can't talk to. Good on
Yep.
you, Jen.
Yep. Yep.
Good to me. Good to me. Um, but at the dinner, as things just came out, I hated Jen Aiden's low blows on Danielle's husband, and what I love Danielle, by the way. I do. I do. I know, unpopular, but let me tell you, because she just,
What do
I
you
don't
love
know,
about
I love
her?
her. Huh?
What do you love about her?
I love that she just is not here for the ish. With Jen, I know Jen is a bully to me. She's a
No
Teresa
doubt.
fan, and it's okay. Two things can be true. You can love Teresa down, but you do not have to attack everybody around when they haven't done anything to you. And I just thought that the whole season got dark, and I hated it for those ladies because I don't want them to go away. And a shakeup, yes, is needed, but if you shake it up too much, it's just not New Jersey.
Yeah.
And so the dinner, the off the rails dinner, was a train wreck in the best way. It was so much going on, but the vitriol and the anger was real, y'all. And sitting there watching it, if it didn't invoke a feeling in you of like whoever side you were on, just watching them fight in the teardown. If you've been a fan from season one, mm, hard to watch. But it
Yeah,
had
it
to
was
be my number
it
two.
was sad. Didn't it feel it felt very final.
It felt very final. And that's why it was sad. It's so sad. I don't know what the future holds. I even did a episode on it where I just kind of had to come like talk to everybody about kind of how I was feeling because I was just like, what just happened here? I just, though, let me say this, producers did a good job with that as well. Everything from the teaser when we first were starting the season, so we knew it was coming, the way they did that. And I'm going to have to disagree a little bit. The cliffhanger when Margaret exposes Jackie to me, I thought it was a nice little plot twist. Teresa didn't care. She didn't. Because I mean, she was on the bigger fish to fry. When you have the one that you really, who is your enemy, collateral damage is collateral damage. I totally got that. But when Jackie tried to say, no, I didn't, and then kind of under her breath, I was like, oh. And to Jackie. Understood why. It's just if you knew you did that, where was the opportunity to slide and be like, hey, Teresa, just so you know. Eh. But yeah, it was my number two for like all of those reasons, probably more. I won't ramble. I love New Jersey and I hate what it's become.
Yeah, I love Jersey too. It was my like gateway into like the Housewives world. It was the first one I ever watched. It's the one to this day. My mother, every time it's on, we do mother son date night and watch Jersey. I've been watching it for like
I
years.
love
She
that.
doesn't watch any other franchise. She doesn't really care about that, but it's just, and it was so sad to watch, I
Yeah.
think, because like the divide's gotten so bad that it
Yeah.
really is like the show can't go on like this,
Mm-mm.
obviously. And I also find it interesting that, especially on like social media, people have very strong opinions about the different shows and blah blah, but nothing brings out the fighting like Jersey.
Oh,
People
yeah.
have such strong opinions, and your team, X, Y, or Z, and the fighting about Jersey doesn't just go on like when the show's airing. It is an all year round
All year round.
365 experience.
It is unnerving to watch. I mean, even the whole thing with Melissa's sprinkle cookies and the good Lord, I just thought to myself, and I know Melissa is very, very, very annoying. At one point, I did like Melissa. I felt like she was an underdog. But as we have immersed, I feel like it's gone straight to her head. And I think she lives to antagonize Teresa. Um,
That's her only storyline. What's her
oh yeah,
storyline?
oh
She
yeah.
doesn't have one.
No, no,
I
she
mean, what's going to
doesn't.
be her next like fake business venture? You know, we have a garbage company. I want to find my sister. We're going to open this restaurant while filming. We're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like
It,
enough.
it's enough. It's enough. Something's definitely got to change. But I watch and read. I never jump in because I'm just not team either one enough to fight. It's not that serious for me. I'm gonna always love Teresa because she's the OG. And honey, the way she flipped that table, that's when I fell in love. Not only then, because I get it. Somebody's coming for you, then all of a sudden it hits you like, did she just say what I'm doing? She's love that. No, that always is my favorite. It'll go down in history,
If
along
you
with
were,
many other Teresa moments. But
yeah, but if you were casting, who would you bring back? Who do you think they're going to bring back?
oh, they have to bring back Teresa. I mean,
I
if
mean,
you
no
there
doubt.
is not a show without Teresa Judice. If you think so, then you didn't watch it. You really, they have to. Um,
But you know
if
what?
it came down to the two, Melissa could go.
I think that they're going to bring Melissa back too.
I think
I,
so too.
I really do.
I do. But I hope that the scare of the pause causes them to. I don't want to see them be fake because we've seen Melissa and Teresa be fake, fake sister-in-laws, fake sisters. But when they've had their light moments, I felt like it was. I thought it was good.
Those were my favorite seasons. Were the seasons where they got along and were friendly and like united front. Those were like my favorite seasons and like my favorite scenes. I love them together.
I do.
You know, and I
They're
really feel like, and again, I know I am like a broken record, but I really feel like Margaret is the cause of
oh
the
yeah,
separation. She's the cause of like the divide. She is the catalyst of the chaos, and I feel like if she was never on the show, the two of them would not be in the position that they are like right now.
I
There's
agree.
no doubt in my
Margaret can
mind
go.
she has to go.
Margaret needs to go. I mean, and before Margaret, you had your Kim D's, but she was never like as featured as Margaret. I don't see. I thought Margaret was interesting when she first came on with her, the mom, her story, and now it's just kind of like go already. You're
Yeah.
not one of the OGs, and the rest of them are really like family, and I feel like you're breaking up a family. I don't like it, so I agree totally. All right, guys, now we are down to our number one spot. Um, Joey, what you got?
All right, before I get to my number one, I do have a couple honorable mentions that I
Okay,
have to throw in there.
okay,
Number one, I need to give props to Southern Hospitality season 2
okay.
because I feel like Southern Hospitality season 1 came on, and I was like, oh, they're trying so hard to be Vanderpump Rules, and you will never be Vanderpump Rules. This is ridiculous. Maybe I'm like too old now, and these like young kids, it's just like ugh, you know.
Yeah,
But I stuck with it anyway. Season 2, they came on. Different people, in my opinion. They really found their footing. I thought it was super entertaining. I'm so excited for season 3. I have to give them some props, although they did not make my top 10.
okay, okay. That's fair.
Number 2, again, not my top 10, but the end of VPR
Ooh,
has to be talked
yeah.
about.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes.
just, I think, probably one of the greatest reality TV shows of all time.
All the time.
I mean, the ratings that they brought in are like something we haven't seen since like the early like Atlanta days.
Right.
It was just like so beyond Bravo, you know? Like the fact that Ariana went over and hosted Love Island season 6 of the USA and the ratings doubled from previous seasons just shows you like the power of like the show. I mean,
Absolutely.
and the fact it's ending, like, yeah, it's probably time to end. It probably could have ended a season or two ago.
Yeah.
It's super sad though. Like I don't, we'll never. I know they're gonna try to like reboot it. I don't care
Valen.
what her new staff is like. They will never
Oh, the
ever,
new
mark my
Vanderpump.
words,
Yeah.
be able to
No,
recreate
no,
VPR.
no, no, no. That
Right?
was TV gold. And
Gold.
yeah, I agree with you. Um, I didn't have honorable mentions, but I would say that is a huge one. It should have even made my list because Vanderpump Rules, yeah. I mean, you have to give all of them credit. They have brought us some great TV season after season. We've watched them grow up, just grow into their businesses, their lives, their train wreck times. I mean, just their children. I mean, they gave it up. They gave it up. They did. They did. And they were their contribution is unmatched. Good luck on them trying to reboot it. I agree. I don't even think I'll watch, to be honest. Think I want to remember it when.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I would watch would be out of like curiosity, I think.
Yeah.
And like I like love Lisa Vanderpump, so I want her to like succeed,
Oh yeah.
but I just there's no way it's going to be even half as good. It's impossible.
I agree.
You
I
cannot
agree.
recreate the magic again. It's not going to happen.
I don't think so. It'll be a different show. And maybe you're right, Joey. Of course, my nosiness. There's no way I cannot watch. I mean, I'm fronting over here. I'll be watching. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
I
Number one
digress.
time.
All right, my number one, if it's not obvious, I said it was coming up, but I haven't mentioned it yet. Number one for me was the Miami trip to the church in Mexico City, to pray to that version of Guadalupe. It was just so incredible to me. It was so powerful. I feel like, people are like, how do you watch that? It's just a bunch of rich women screaming at each other. And I'm like, yes. And I love them screaming at each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the moments like that are like, mean so much more than like the fighting and like the villainous behavior. It was so incredible. I don't think that any franchise on right now has given us a scene where all the women come together like that
Not like that.
in a supportive environment or role. I mean, and like you mentioned, right? It was Alexia who had previously prayed to this version of Guadalupe when her son was in the accident, and she feels like she's the one that like saved him. It was Gertie with the cancer admitting that she was scared. Larsa, of all people, being there to support her. Julia hadn't been to a church, like you said, since her son passed. It was just, you cannot recreate that.
Never.
You cannot fake that. That
Nope.
was not for cameras. That
No.
was the real deal. It touched me so much. I was sobbing.
Same.
Watched it more
Same.
than once, and I loved it enough that it is my number one.
Great number one. Great number one. I agree with all that you said. Um, My number one is also a moment that we talked about earlier. Mine is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's finale, season 4. And I will tell you why. Joey touched on a lot of it, but everything from Monica Garcia. Listen, I love when a girl can come in as smart as she was, infiltrate these women who thought that they were better than that, they had their own thing going. I mean, mastermind. The way that she came, it was like watching old school Lifetime when you're sitting there and you're like, oh, this girl, and she's so interesting and she's pretty and but she's calculating and she's moving different. And then when things start to come together, listen, it couldn't have been better as a scripted show, reality. It crossed all genres because it was just so good. Everything, like Joey said, from the producer scrambling because something's up, and then your antennas go like, "Oh my god, that's never happened before."
Right.
The moment on the beach, like he said, the wind's blowing, and Heather's
The Wind
back
was a paid actor.
God, yeah. I mean, literally the conversation we don't know who she's talking to, and she's getting this intel. And listen, y'all. And then the big reveal. Plot twist like a mug. I was like, really? Um, and then when she finally admitted it, and not only admitted it, she went for you're gonna get some, you're gonna get some unapologetically. And it was, God, it made me, because I had kind of like given up on Salt Lake a little bit until she came on. And that finale, I mean, it wasn't shocking to me that it won an award. It was so well done. It was so well done. Number one, hands down for me. So
Like you said, you can't write that.
no,
I
no.
mean, it was so well done.
So well done. Just who saw it coming? They didn't see it coming. You could tell they were really shook. And I thought, wow, this is what I'm talking about. You couldn't make it up. You, like I said, it was literally like sitting in front of Lifetime and watching. You're like, what did she did? Listen, all I can say, y'all, hands down. Um, so guys, that's our 2024. It was a great year in Bravo. So much going on. Things that I didn't mention that you know, might have we have some things going on, the Karen Huger stuff. I wonder what her fate will be. I don't have the empathy for her that I had for Shannon, and I will say, because she has not taken accountability. Two totally different women, but in some regards, no, they're both proud, they're both um upstanding in their community, and certainly have their reputations to protect both. But she just went about things the wrong way. And I'm looking at her and I'm seeing something deeper where she really does need some help. Um, though I probably the only reason I would keep watching, I don't know that she should be brought back next season. Unpopular, y'all can put it in the comments, honey. You can tear me up. But um, I just think sometimes a lot of these women need to know when it's time to take a step away and handle some things a little bit before they continue. Um, but overall, 2024 gave us some great, great content. I'm looking forward to 2025. Joey?
Yeah, I'm looking forward, like I said, to Southern Hospitality coming back. I thought they had
Yeah.
a wonderful season 2. Season 3 looks great from like the trailer. Um, neither of us mentioned, and I have to give them some credit. The Valley season 1,
Oh,
I really thought it was going to be a complete failure on Bravo's part. It brought insane ratings.
did.
It was so much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
I mean, the cast that they picked were so well, and I'm a little nervous about people hopping over from VPR to the Valley, because I feel like the Valley cast really doesn't need any help.
They
And I
don't.
question if, love her or hate her, but like Sheena, is she gonna ruin things? Is Lala gonna ruin things? Like, and I love them both.
I do
Unpopular
too.
opinion
I do
again,
too. I do.
but I'm excited for season 2. I really hope that they don't ruin things, because I just like thought it was so good.
It
I
was.
can't wait for Danny and Nia to be back on like my screen. I loved them.
Yes. Yeah.
I could do without Michelle, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like, obviously we're gonna get Housewives back. Atlanta's come back. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know. But
Fortunately, we're gonna see no Jersey.
I know. I know. That sucks. That totally sucks.
And we
But
have some new ones on the horizon, possibly. So,
yes.
the
Yes.
rumors are still circulating about Rhode Island. We
Yes.
have apparently cast members for the Real Housewives of Toronto.
Yes, I saw that. That's exciting.
So, I don't know. Here we go.
I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna keep watching, and I'm excited about the new franchises. We also didn't mention, but we had to say goodbye in 2024 to Real Housewives of Dubai, which I thought was kind of unfair.
I'm so mad about that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why that was. I mean, they had just as good a season as some of the others, so I didn't understand that one.
They had a better season than some of the others that they keep bringing
Absolutely.
back. And again, though, I don't know how much had to do with that, or that United Emirates, I heard, was giving them a lot of issues
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
filming, because like their like laws and what they do over there is like so strict, and to have
Yeah.
these women on TV that are swearing and drinking
Drinking.
excessively, and
Yeah.
that could be a
Yeah.
major reason,
That's true.
which is
That is true.
unfortunate.
It is. It is. Because they brought the opulence too. But
Oh, they.
yeah.
Oh, and the Traitor season 3.
Oh
Cannot
yeah.
wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait either. I can't wait. I love Traders, by the way. What a great addition. I
I
mean,
think that Dorinda is just going to eat Tom Sandoval up.
wait. Yes, honey, I love, listen, love me some Dorinda. Love, 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 love. I do. I do. Always have. And like I said, some of the ones that I really, really like, I always get a little backlash for, but I stand on it. I love who I love.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I want to challenge you guys. Please slide in our comments and let us know what were your favorite moments of Bravo this year. What are you looking forward to for next year? And we wish you guys the safest of New Year's Eves and the best of 2024. We're going to be back recapping those shows we love. We invite you to come back with us and talk all things Bravo. It's been a great year. We're looking forward to 2025 and all that it has to bring. Joey, last words?
Nothing to say. We had a great 2024 year. I'm super excited for 2025. I hope that you have a great new year.
You too. You too.
And yeah, we'll be back with good old Beverly Hills and Salt Lake when they
Oh,
start
yeah.
airing it.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Oh, and quickly, let me just say, the outpouring that I have received. We love you, Joey, and I am so thankful that we found each other in 2024, and I'm snagging you with me to 2025.
Well, that's so nice. Thank you so much. I love being here, and yeah, let's continue to rock on into 2025.
That's it. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to bid you a goodbye. Hope you have the best day ever and come on back when we have our new shows coming back. We'll be right back here. So come join us. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.